Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the combined agenda and regular meeting of the Monroe Township Council on this first day of August, the year 2022. I would like to ask Lieutenant Brewer to have our attendees enter the room, please.
By squad. Forward, march, and lift, unlift, unlift, lift, 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 unlift, unlift, lift, lift,
Lieutenant Brewer, would you do us the honor of having our graduates lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance as we all rise to honor our flag?
Class leader, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Present arms!
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order! Arms! Ready? Seat!
Thank you, sir.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Charles DePiero.
Here.
Councilwoman Elizabeth Schneider.
Here.
Councilman Rupa P. Siegel. Let me note for the record that Councilwoman Siegel is absent this evening. Council Vice President Terrence Van Zora.
Here.
Council President Miriam Cohen.
Present. Would the clerk please read the Sunshine Law into the record?
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. 1. Posted on the bulletin board within the municipal building on December 29, 2021, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2. Printed in the Home News Tribune and noticed to the Cranberry Press on December 30th, 2021. 3. Posted on the Monroe Township website. And 4. Sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the Council President.
We now have the distinct pleasure of the recognition of the graduates of the Police Youth Academy. Lieutenant Brewer, please.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lieutenant Brewer with the Monroe Police Department, and on behalf of Chief Michael Bienis, who is unfortunately unable to make it this evening, I'd like to welcome everybody here today. I would like to make this very quick, get everybody out of here, but I wanted to thank the mayor and council for inviting these recruits here this evening. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
For those of you who do not know, these children completed our 3rd annual Monroe Township Police Youth Academy this past July. This is truly one of the best programs that our township runs. This is a great way for our officers to get to know and work closely with the youth in our community and create a strong community bond. I'd like to personally thank all the officers that volunteered their time to make this program run, but most importantly, I want to thank the recruits for showing up to the program. Without you guys there every day, we would not have this program. This was not an easy summer camp where you just hang out and play games. These recruits PT'd, and they PT'd hard every day. You should all be very happy with yourselves and this accomplishment, because not everyone can do what you have done. So recruits, I want to say thank you and give you guys a round of applause. At this time, to my left here is Detective DeGraw. He is our head instructor for the Youth Academy.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I'd first like to start off by thanking the mayor, town council, parents of the recruits, and the recruits for being in attendance today. The Monroe Township Youth Police Academy began in 2018 in the Detective Bureau at Police Headquarters. When I was younger, I always had the desire to become a police officer, but never had the opportunity to interact with a police officer other than in a DARE class or in passing. I was always curious as to what they did on a daily basis and the training that they endured to get where they were. When I was 17 years old, I was able to attend the New Jersey State Police Trooper Youth Program, and I was able to see what a police officer encountered on a daily basis and the rigorous training that went on in obtaining the job. To say the least, I became obsessed. I loved doing the push-ups, going on the long runs, what they called swimming in the pool, which I thought was drowning in the pool, and interacting with the men and women who enjoyed instructing me. Shortly after I attended college, I graduated Monmouth University and attended the police academy. During the course of my training, I woke up every day with a sense of pride and passion for what the day had in store for me. When I graduated from the police academy and began working in Monroe, I wanted to share that passion that I had and train younger kids and let them see how a police officer endured rigorous training and what they went through to get the job. I want to let them look back on daily encounters we have with them and see we are not what the media portrays us to be. I want these kids to see that even though we are instilling discipline, respect, and self-reliance, we could still be compassionate and caring while doing so. With this in mind, I did my research, speaking with numerous agencies in Middlesex and Monmouth County, and developed a plan. This plan was portrayed to Lieutenant Brewer, who helped finalize and iron out any logistical issues that we faced. With a solid platform in hand, the idea was then pitched to then Chief Michael Lloyd, who eventually had the idea approved by the township. The following is a daily itinerary of what the recruits went through throughout the week. So they had orientation, which is me yelling at them pretty much, right? A lot of push-ups, correct?
Yes, sir.
Good. Military drill and instruction by Detective Ray Gifford. That shows them discipline, marching, being rigid, being a paramilitary structure that we are as police department. We then had the New Jersey State Police medic come, Mr. Edward Benyati, Elizabeth Police Department. We had a drone demonstration from Elizabeth Police Department. New Jersey State Police medic helicopter actually landed. The kids were able to see what's inside the medic helicopter and how people are transported in times of crisis. We did numerous team building exercises as well at the end of the day. And then my favorite part was the physical training for the kids. So that was the first day. Second day consisted of the Middlesex County SWAT team. Members came out and explained their role and what they do, how they perform high-functioning jobs throughout the county, and showed their special weapons and tactics that they acquire. We had a firearms safety instruction course by Detective Robert Moritz. He showed if a kid ever comes across the handgun, what to do, or any type of firearm, what to do, who to contact, how to do it. We had a traffic safety instruction by Officer Joseph Vella. We then went on to the third day, which was a CPR certification. Monroe Township First Aid came out. They showed choking, CPR for both infant and adult, which I thought was very good to have for the kids. Sergeant Scott Kivett with Robbinsville PD then came out and did a K-9 presentation. The fourth day consisted of the United States Coast Guard Sandy Hook trip. We went out there, we were able to speak to the Coast Guard, and they were able to explain their job in law enforcement. It's a different aspect when you talk about law enforcement at a federal level and on the water. And they did a good job explaining to us how you can get involved into a different career, such as the United States Coast Guard, and still get involved in law enforcement. And then Friday, we had the medical examiner's office come in. Who tapped out from that? Right? So we saw all the pictures of what we experience in a day at work. Decomposition and all this other stuff that goes on, and it's able to let the kids see there's other fields of law enforcement, like the medical examiner's office, where you don't have to be a police officer. Photography, you could be a doctor. You do all these things and get involved in law enforcement and not actually have to be a cop. So, let me figure out. Okay. So since its approval, the Academy has taken off, and I believe the kids who partake in the program finish the grueling week with a sense of pride and accomplishment. They are able to leave with their heads high and their chests out. I personally believe that in today's society, we do not push our kids to their physical and mental limits. We do not allow them to see that adversity can make them into a person you never thought you could be. You can adapt and overcome any obstacle you face in life, and if you have perseverance and determination. That is what I wanted to tell them for the 1 week that I had them and I instructed them. And you saw that they went home with a sense of pride after every day. In closing, I would like to again thank Chief Bienis, Lieutenant Brewer, Officer Patrick McCann, who is my right-hand man in this year's Police Academy, Detective Bennett, Detective Gifford, Detective O'Brien, and all those who volunteered their time for yet another successful Youth Police Academy. Recruits, I am very proud of you, and I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to do something that I truly love and I truly enjoy. So thank you.
Council President, we can turn it back over to you for comment.
Thank you very much. I am quite sure that my council colleagues would have something they like to say. I will begin with the Ward 1, Councilwoman Betty Schneider, please. Any comments for our graduates?
Oh, like I said when I came in, it's just delightful to see young people, smiling faces. That's even nicer, but I congratulate not only you, but your parents, because today you wouldn't be here without them. So I know you've worked hard, as the officer said, detective. So maybe this way you'll go into law enforcement, I hope. But if not, I think you'll see a different view of them, because sometimes they don't get the acclimates that they should. But I thank you again for participating. It takes a lot of stamina to do what you did. So congratulations to you, and congratulations to your parents, and you make Monroe proud. Thank you.
Councilman DePiero, Ward 3.
Sure, thank you. First, I want to say thank you to our police department for taking this forward and giving our youth an opportunity, as they said sometimes they didn't have when they were younger. But I want to thank our chief and everyone that was part of this program. Thank you. And now, as Betty Snyder said, Councilwoman Snyder said, it's nice to see you guys here and in a positive way. And law enforcement is a big thing that we all need to follow. And at a young age, it's nice to see a good group of men and women in Monroe, and you can be our future chief, or you can be our future police officers in our town or near town. So good luck, and thanks again, and congratulations to you and your parents. Thank you.
Council Vice President Van Zura, please.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, again, thank you to our police who did this. 1 week, and I bet it changed your whole perception of what a lot of the police officers are all about, right? You got to see them. They're real people. They work hard, right? And their job is to try and keep our town safe. And the fact of the matter is, here in Monroe, they do an excellent, excellent job. So you got very good role models there. And the officer is correct. A lot of times, police officers get a bad rap because there might be one or two guys out there that get a little overzealous when they shouldn't. We don't have that in our town, but it's you read about it, and that's like a big headline. But yet, in the last year, I remember reading about an officer who pulled somebody from a burning car, saved their life. Another officer in East Brunswick who actually talked someone off a bridge who was about to commit suicide and saved their life. And every day they go out, they never know what they're going to run into. Sometimes it's an argument in the family, but they will always go out there and put their lives on the line to do what they do in order to help protect us. So I hope that this 1 week that you had really changes your perception. I hope that maybe some of you will consider becoming officers. We did have a graduation program, and we did have officers that were added to the force. That was a program about 4, 5, 6 months ago, and there were some people from our town who became Monroe officers. So maybe this is something that you guys would like to follow in the future. But I hope you all got a lot out of it, and I do thank the officers for their time and effort. They really do it with the best of things in mind, and I think it's a great, great program. Thank you, officers.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you. I am so very proud that we have the opportunity to have you here with us this evening, and I am proud of our police department every day. And when I listen to the speeches about why people choose the careers they choose, I am reminded that we can all do many things, but there's nothing we can do as well as that is which we love. And that is always very special. And I know that this academy is important to our police department. So we are proud that we are here with you this evening, and you were here with us. And we continue every day to be proud that we have a police force that brings honor and dignity to the town that we all love. So I would like to turn the program back to the lieutenant to conclude.
Detective Gifford, I recruit you, turn over to you.
Tires, attention! Give your command, fall out, in formation, facing the opposite direction. Fall out!
Once they're lined up, then you'll call recess for pictures. Maybe give them like one last round of applause.
A round of applause for all of them. And we will take a 5-minute recess for picture taking.
First squad, seat. Second squad, kneel.
This meeting is called to order. We would like to proceed with the rest of the agenda. Thank you. I'd ask the clerk to read item 6, the ordinances for second reading at the meeting.
Ordinance 06, 2022-014, ordinance amending Chapter 39 of the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Fees. Ordinance 06, 2022-015, bond ordinance providing for various improvements to the water utility in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $830,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $830,000 bonds or notes of the Township to finance the cost thereof. Ordinance 06, 2022-016, bond ordinance providing for various open space improvements in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,768,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,683,700 bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof. Ordinance 06, 2022-017, bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $4,802,350, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $4,578,225 bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you. Item 7 are the resolutions for the consideration under the consent agenda at the August 1st regular meeting, and they range from R8 2022-196 through R8 2022-216. I would ask that the council please review the resolutions. If there is any that you wish removed from consideration, please give us the numbers. Councilman DePiero.
Yes, I have two. R8 2022-207. R8 2022-214.
Thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Councilman. Anyone else have anything they would like removed? We will now move to the public comment section of the agenda meeting. Remember, this is limited to agenda items only, and speakers are limited to 5 minutes. I'd like a motion to open the public comment section, please. May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public comment section is open. If you wish to comment on agenda items, please come forward to the mic and your name and address for our record. Please, ma'am. Yes. Oops, don't do.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Susan Rudy. I live at 350 Schoolhouse Road.
Yes.
Okay. And as chairman of the Historic Preservation Commission, I just wanted to say a few words in support of saving the Mounts Mills barn. And that's Resolution R8 2022-203.
Yes, ma'am.
Several members of the commission are here this evening,
I noticed,
and I'm
yes.
speaking on behalf of them. Unfortunately, due to summer vacations, some couldn't make it. And then I did want to mention that John Katurba, our town historian, would like to say a few words after I'm done speaking, if that's okay.
He is certainly most welcome to do that.
Great. Well, we're here this evening to support a letter that we had sent back in January to stay the demolition so that we could just reconsider the demolition of the one red wooden timber barn circa 1820 on the property of the Mounts Mills, on the property of Mounts Mills Road and Buckaloo Avenue. And we're asking just to save the one barn, not all of the buildings on that site. So as you know, our mission is to preserve and protect history. And many of us remember a time when red barns dotted our rural community quite a bit. But now with the growth and development of the township, we're losing them. And there's only a few more left. So it's just that much more important that we strive to retain as many barns as we can, not only for the present, but for the future generations who may not recall or ever remember a time when we had our rural community. So the location of this building is in a prime location. We just feel it's on a site that's already owned by the township. It's already established as open space. And the building is situated close to the road so that people who are traveling on that main artery of Buckaloo Avenue can see the ambience of that barn. And it's something that travelers, both current residents and visitors, can enjoy. But in addition to the historic character of the building, we've identified a specific purpose that we would like to use that building for. And we'd like to use that barn for storage. Our storage sheds at the Dye Farm are falling apart. They're not in good shape. We're not sure what decisions will be made regarding they're still standing and being used at the Dye Farm. So we are in dire need to be able to store our large farm implements and all the artifacts that we currently have at the Dye Farm and those that we might obtain in the future. We're running out of space at the Dye Farm. So we are told by experts from the New Jersey Barn Company and by Restorations Technologies that structure is sound. It might need some repair, but it's sound. And because we're not planning on using it for the public use, we felt that maintenance and repairs could be minimal if only being used, using that building for storage. We also thought there might be benefits potentially to other groups, not just the Historic Commission, but perhaps other community groups like the Gardening Club or the Environmental Commission. If consideration might be talked about regarding using some of that open space for a community garden. If so, then maybe the gardeners could use that space at no extra cost to store their implements. There's a beautiful overhang and roof along the 22-foot length of that barn, which could offer shade and rest for any gardeners who might be, using that property for gardening. The Grubb report, it was a 2002 cultural resources inventory that we did back then, did mention the house and the outbuildings as historic buildings. And so, just on behalf of the Commission, we'd like to thank you for your consideration to not demolish this barn after all, if possible. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the work you do on the Historic Commission.
Thank you.
It's a benefit to all. I understand that Mr. Katurba would like to address us.
Yes.
I see him sitting in the back, so he can stand up now and come forward. Your name and address, Mr. Katurba, for our record.
John Caturba, 153 Union Valley Road, Monroe Township.
Thank you.
I'd like to give you a little brief history of that building. It's actually a bookmark to history, if you think about it, if you really look at that building. Most people drive by and see a dilapidated old red building, not paying too much attention to it, but if you start to think about it and you realize it is only of its size and of its age, maybe one of 3 buildings left in Monroe Township. Again, like Sue said, the community was dotted with barns and houses, but we've grown into a community where we're probably supposed to be, and those barns have fallen out of fashion and use. And but by some miracle, it's lasted all these years, almost 200 years. If you think about it, the trees were growing during the Revolutionary War, and eventually those trees were logged and hand-hewn by probably Revolutionary War veterans that fought. Those trees also were standing during the Battle of Monmouth, and if you happened to be standing near one of those trees, you could hear definitely the cannon fire from Monmouth. Fast forward, Pete Unitas's family moved to Monroe. They were the last true owners of that property, and they moved to Monroe in 1929. He was a only child of Polish immigrants. He was about 6 years old. And I remember him telling me stories of one night there was commotion in that barn in the middle of the night, and him and his father went out there and found an escapee from the state home. And I get, the poor lad told a poor tale of woe, and he happened to have a ball and chain attached to his ankle.
Oh, wow.
His father fell for the story, or felt some sympathy, and took a saw and cut the ball and chain off of the poor kid's ankle. And I thought when Pete told me the story, I thought he was making it up. And he took me into his workshop, and they still had the ball and chain that his father cut off back in the 30s, still hanging on a nail. In 1937, Pete told me that he was heading out to a friend's house to play football, and overhead before he left the property was the airship Hindenburg. It had just left New York, headed for Lakehurst on its fateful journey. Flew right over the farm. Pete Unitas himself went on to serve as a distinguished serviceman in World War II, and he was selected out of his entire group. One of the reasons, he had perfect complexion. He was 6 feet tall, and he was selected to be a guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier down in D.C., which he proudly did for a stint. After the war, he settled back in Monroe. He got back into his passion of baseball. He was offered a position on the Major League Baseball team, the A's. He told his father, now he's the only son on a working farm, and his father absolutely forbade this because I need you here on the farm. You're not going to play that dumb game, is what he told him. So we could have had a Major League Baseball star living there, but he had to pick potatoes instead. Later on, he married Beatrice, his wife. She was actually a Monroe clerk here at one time in Monroe Township. They both lived out their days on that farm, both passing away, Pete last. The farm was eventually purchased by the township for open space. There's no reason why we can't really let that building, leave it alone. It could be a passive historic structure. The building was found to be in sound condition. It's not going to fall down tomorrow. Pete took good care of his buildings. So as a testament to our veterans, our farming heritage, and again, it's only one of basically 3 left in the township. And it is a staple of the neighborhood. I can't imagine driving down Mounts Mills Road not seeing that building there. But other than that, I hope you take it into consideration tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your comments. Is anyone else wishing to, and you're getting a round of applause. Would you, is there anyone else who wishes to address us? Yes, sir. Your name and address for our records, please.
Hello, my name's Darren Kutz, 397 Buckaloo Avenue, Monroe Township. I also want to speak about the barn. Immediately when I heard that the barn was going to be demolished, I contacted Councilman DePiero because it literally would have just killed me to see that wood chipped up and thrown in a dumpster. That place, like John said, has been here all our lives. That farm, I hunted, I fished, I trapped, and I laugh every time I go by there because at times when Beatrice was still, the clerk court of court. If you caught a fox, you could put in for a bounty. And I would stop there, and she'd come out the back door, and back in those days, they'd have to take a knife and put a little slice in the nose, and then they'd send you a check for $3 or $5. And I can't tell you how many times I stopped there and did that. So whenever I go by there, those kind of memories keep coming back. And, I stopped, I took a look at the barn when I heard it was going to go down, and I said to Charlie, I said, that barn cannot come down. I said, it's in good shape, it's sound. The other buildings don't mean anything, but that is part of the community. And as Susan had said, when they bought that piece of property, I had no idea where they were going. And I was like, that's one of the dumbest things I thought that we could have done. But in retrospect, I really think that something like the community gardens would be a fabulous idea over there. We don't have enough room over on Applegarth. There's much greater demand than there is land to plant. And here we've got 5 acres and a beautiful barn where they could store things. And that barn is so big that you could even hold seminars in there. You put chairs in, you hold, a wildlife seminar or a gardening seminar or a history seminar. I mean, what greater place could you have? People pay big money to go to a venue like an old barn like that. You've got one here for free. It's already been bought. It's already been paid for. And to be honest with you, it would be criminal to have that barn taken down. So I just want to say that I really hope and pray that you guys keep it around. Like you said, it looks like it's in really good shape. It's in way better shape than a lot of other structures in the town. And I think it'll be there for a lot longer. And the fact that it made it, as he said, over 200 years, I think we should keep it around a little bit longer. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and thank you for speaking. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am, please. Just as a reminder, since I see many of you are choosing to wear a mask, we do have masks in the back. I'm not worried. I wanted to let everyone know we do have masks in the back of the room and we do have hand cleaner. So if anyone chooses to do that, it is there for you to do. Your name and address for our records, please.
Susan A. Bear, 527B Terry Lane, Monroe Township.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make a comment here. I was looking around because history's really important, and there's very little to hold on to. And look at all the pictures around here. What are they of? Things that existed in the past. Let us preserve that. Let us hold on to that. It is wonderful, and this is an opportunity to do that. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, then you just said it very well, so thank you very much.
Great.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address us on an issue this evening? Seeing and hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public comment section of the agenda meeting.
Make a motion.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. May I have a motion to adjourn the agenda meeting? Motion, please.
So moved.
A second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Here.
Councilwoman,
Sorry, yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
The time is 7:12.
Meeting is adjourned. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Monroe Township Council to order. Getting to bang the gavel a lot tonight. What time are we called to order now?
7:12.
Thank you. A motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the payment of claims per the run date of July 26, 2022, please? Motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Again, my thanks. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero,
Abstain?
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Motion to approve the minutes of the following meeting of June 27th, 2022, the agenda and combined regular meeting. That was motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Yes. Will the clerk please read the ordinance that's here for second reading?
Ordinance 06-2022-014, ordinance amending Chapter 39 of the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Fees.
May I have a motion to
So moved.
open a public hearing on this, please?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Nay. Anyone wishing to address the council regarding this ordinance, please come forward now. Hearing none, seeing none. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So
Motion.
moved.
Thank you. Second. That
Second.
was Councilman DePiero, Councilman Benzura.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let's move this. No. Okay. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 06-2022-014? Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second on that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Would the clerk please read the ordinance ending in 015?
Ordinance 06-2022-015, bond ordinance providing for various improvements to the water utility in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $830,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $830,000 bonds or notes of the Township to finance the cost thereof.
Thank you. I'd like a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you. Oh, on both sides. Good. My left and my right ear.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Anyone wishing to address us regarding this order, please come forward, state your name and address for our record.
Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. Is this bond ordinance solely for the use of the water utility? Or, because it wasn't really clear. It says acquisition of water meters and the acquisition of sports utility vehicles. Is this under the budget for the, I am on the right one, aren't I? 015?
Yes
Yes.
and yes.
Yes and yes.
Okay, so, water meters, I get that, 370,000. Is that new water meters, or are we replacing some of them in some of the?
I would have to go to Mr. Stroin to answer that, please, sir.
But the answer is it's meters that we use to replace meters that have gone out of service.
Yeah,
and
usually
doing
that
installation,
happens.
so it's both.
And Monroe has a good system of
Correct.
replacing them when they change resale.
Yes.
But,
Mr.
that's the
Stroin, you
answer.
concur? He's
We
finally
go on to
getting,
your next question while he's figuring out.
yeah, he's figuring out the microphone.
and the
Giving a
acquisition of
course in
sport
microphone.
utility vehicles, there's $460,000 for that. Is that solely for the use of the Monroe Township Utility Department?
Yes, everything in this bond issue is just for MTUD, correct.
So we need those trucks, that's a lot of money. Okay,
costs are expensive.
and are there any changes on here that are scheduled for like the future? I think it says adopted capital budget or temporary capital budget. The capital or temporary budget of the township is hereby amended to conform. So in other words, in this particular $830,000, I believe it is this for future development, or is this for, are we doing this for current? And
So this $830,000.
could you use your, because I can barely hear you.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
I
well,
apologize.
welcome.
This $830,000 is just for the items that are listed here, period. So whatever's listed in this ordinance, that's what it's for. So the mechanism is, when you buy capital items, we have a capital budget, which is really just a plan, MTUD does. So we're amended, we always amend the whenever you see a bond ordinance, it amends the capital budget, it appropriates money, and it authorizes debt. So those are the three things that all of these ordinances always do.
So these are for current use? This is
Correct.
not in anticipation of the build-out or anything at this point?
No, ma'am, that's all this is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address us regarding this ordinance, please? Then may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Thank you. Second on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. I'd like a motion to adopt ordinance 06-2022-015.
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Our next ordinance is 06-2022-016. Before the clerk reads the ordinance, this bond ordinance is in conjunction with a shared service agreement with the Board of Education that was passed unanimously by resolution in December by this body. Would you please read the bond ordinance?
Bond ordinance providing for various open space improvements in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,768,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,683,700 bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you. Like a motion to open a public hearing on this ordinance, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Good. Anyone wishing to address the council on this ordinance, please come forward now. Please.
Shell Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. I am speaking as a past Board of Education president that was involved with Mayor Dolina on this. I cannot really speak for the current Board of Education, so I'm speaking as an individual. I'd just like to thank the Township Council for the shared services. This is for the track and the field, and we know that the whole community uses this on a regular basis, so I think it is beneficial to everybody, and I want to thank you personally as a member of the community for this shared services, and I hope with the kind of build-out that is happening in Monroe, that we will be able to support our students and the rest of the community with more projects like this. I think it's essential. What goes on here helps to preserve the educational budget for our students, and as we know, the best thing we can give our children is a good education. So this is going to go to good use for recreational purposes, and again, it benefits the entire community, and I am grateful as a citizen and a past board president to the cooperation and collaboration we had with this council and the mayor last year. So thank you.
Thank you for your words. Does anyone else wish to address us regarding this bond ordinance? Seeing and hearing none, I would like to ask for a motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. May I have a motion to adopt bond ordinance?
So moved.
And it's 06-2022-15. May I have a second on that?
16.
16. See why I don't read these. Yes, 16. Sorry. For the record.
We need a second.
I'm asking for a second on the motion.
I will second the motion to approve.
Thank you. May we have a roll call on that?
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. The last ordinance is 06-2022-017. Before the clerk reads that ordinance, please note that this ordinance includes the police department building expansion. If I remember correctly, it also includes ambulance, et cetera, to help our very fine police department. Would you please read the ordinance?
Bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $4,802,350, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $4,578,225 bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open a public hearing?
So moved.
moved.
Thank you. A second. I'm
Second.
hearing an echo again. Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Anyone wishing to address the council regarding this ordinance, please come forward now. Oh, Michelle, you should sit in the first row, Michelle. Would be so much easier.
I'm not the only concerned citizen. You can see all of them back
Well, they're
here.
all here.
And
That
those
makes them
watching, and
concerned
those watching.
citizens.
Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. I just would like clarification in this bond ordinance on F, land acquisition of the corner of Applegarth Road and Prospect Plains.
Ms.
And that is for
Weinberg, please.
$360,000.
So that is pursuant to a previous agreement that goes back quite a while for the intersection improvements that are much needed at Prospect Plains and Applegarth. The agreement between the township and the county is that the township, and this is common in county agreements, will acquire the land and the easements on the corners. And since this is for 2 county roads, the county will pay for the entire project from design, engineering, and construction. So as is common the case with the county, we are moving forward to acquire the land, and then they will be moving forward to make all the improvements at their own cost.
So is this a land acquisition value, or is this the value to do the soft work for design and everything?
Council President, if I may?
Oh, please
Sure.
do continue.
This is simply land acquisition. The soft costs and the full engineering and construction management and everything will be paid for by the county.
And does this include, Council President, does this include the protection of the tree, the oak tree? Are we preserving that?
Yes, and thanks to the Shade Tree Commission and working with our township engineer and all the groups, this actually shifts the lane over a little bit to provide the tree with a little more protection and widen the road. Thank you.
Glad to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address us, please, sir, come forward. And I see 2 of you, yes. Your name and address for our record, please.
Frank Walter, 384A Sudbury Lane, Monroe Township.
Thank you, sir.
My question is, may not be appropriate, but I was not able to get a copy of the agenda item, so I'm not sure what's included in this. And it seems like a fairly large sum of money, and I was wondering if any of what has been appropriated is going to address remediation efforts to help prevent the folks in Rossmore from getting flooded again.
This ordinance doesn't have anything to do
Nothing
with
to
that.
do with
Okay.
Rossmore.
No.
Is anything on the agenda have anything to do with that?
Not on this agenda,
Not
sir,
this
no.
agenda.
Not on this agenda. Okay.
Thank you. No, nothing to apologize for. It's an appropriate question. May anyone else wishing to speak? There was another gentleman. Does he wish to come up now? No. No, okay. Anyone else wish to address us on this ordinance? Therefore, we will have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? None. May I have a motion to adopt?
I'd move to adopt, please.
Second. May I have a second on the
Second.
motion?
I'll
Second,
second.
thank you.
I'll second.
May I have a roll call?
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion carries.
Council President, can I say a few words in reference to the resolution? Thank you.
You're welcome.
R8 2022-203, in reference to the Pete Unitas and Beatrice Unitas barn. I just wanted to, add to what our commission came to send us the letter, and also to talk about, as growing up, we do remember it as the Potato Ranch, and we do remember that used to be, the house used to be the clerk's office where they collected taxes for the residents of Monroe when they paid taxes as well. So it definitely has a lot of history as being a big farm of 120 acres, and now it's down to 6. And I just want to thank everybody that volunteered to keep that, our commission, and to bring it to our attention. And I just wanted, as Mr. Katerba said, he does a fine job with the commission and also as a historian, but I just wanted to add that there was also a tax collector, Beatrice, where they collected taxes in that house. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with the house. We're not sure what we're going to do with the barn. But we did make a move to do the demolition because that's what we were asked to do as a whole. And I just wanted to thank them for bringing it to our attention, and also being a lifetime resident. As John says, when you do drive by, it might look like an old barn, but there's a lot of stories in that old barn, and there's a lot of history that this town should be proud to be part of. And with Susan, Rudy, and everybody else that we went to school with, we know the meaning of what Monroe was, and we want to, and as the woman came up and talked about these pictures, we just want to make sure that we don't lose touch. And I just want to thank everybody on bringing it to our attention. So thank you.
And very certainly their letter to the mayor, which then brought it also to our attention.
Yes.
For which all of us were very grateful. So thank you for your comment.
You're welcome.
Madam President?
Yes, sir.
I just also want to add, this is why we have a historical commission in our town.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are parts of different committees, and
They can't hear you.
Microphone,
I said, can you hear me now?
A little closer.
a little closer.
Hello?
He's here.
Hey. You know, a lot of people are, you know, we have a lot of different commissions, committees, different things in our town. And sometimes a lot of people that volunteer their work, they may feel that like, well, what am I doing this for? You know, do people not listen? This is a perfect example. This particular group, the Historical Commission, took a position on this, and I believe that the council certainly listened to you, and we appreciate that, because you can't be here all the time. Not all of us have lived here all the time. That red barn was there long before I ever moved into this town, and hopefully, I don't want to say hopefully, it'll be there after I leave. Hopefully, we'll both have a long stay. But I think I do think it's a great idea, and you know, I'm really anxious, and I was hoping you can explore some of the different potential uses. You mentioned some of them already tonight, but I think it's a great idea, and you know, hopefully there will be some things for it. So, thank you for all of your input, and I hope it does well. So, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else needing to comment?
Well, just that anytime we can save anything that has a history. I'm a good old country girl. I came from Hightstown, Cranberry. So I know what Monroe was when I was growing up. So when I heard, you know, they were going to knock this down or demolish it, I went, oh my God, oh my God. Because when I was in North Brunswick, we tried to save stuff for our women's club, and it didn't work. So I'm just very pleased that we were able to say this. Thank you, people, because this is our history. And if we don't preserve it, and I thank the commission for doing this. Thank you.
You know, there are a number of historians that are sitting on this council, and my brother was a professor of history at the University of Wisconsin, and my son holds 2 degrees in history. And I believe that the mayor, who is not with us this evening, has a strong interest in history. So we know it's important. The truth is, we all know that this is important. Knowing who you were is a very good way to know who you are going forward. So this is an important ordinance. I'm going to ask at this moment, since we are here, and I'm just enjoying seeing all of you here tonight, too. The resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda.
We have resolutions R8 2022-196 through R8 2022-216, with the exception of resolution R8 2022-204 and 214 that will be voted on separately.
Very good. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a
Second.
second on a motion?
Second.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolutions removed from the consent agenda were the following, please.
Resolution R8 2022-207 and R8 2022-214.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain?
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. We move to the report section of our agenda, Look at all the
One more.
space you have tonight.
Thank you.
214.
Right.
We did.
No, we didn't.
We did them together.
Together.
Both together. Never
We
mind.
did them both together so that we're done.
For the record.
But
I
thank you for
approve of
doing
both.
that. Oh, good, just for the record. This is good.
Count-
Mr. Weinberg, please.
Thank you very much, Council President. I have quite a long report, so I'll try and go as quick as I can, and hopefully everyone will be able to hear me. I'm Alan Weinberg, the Township Manager here. I'm going to start with the barn first, just since it was brought up by the council members. The good news is, as you know, the mayor did receive the letter from the Historic Commission, and he asked our township engineer to amend the contract to remove the barn from that, and that was just voted on and approved unanimously. So for those who are trying to follow it, I just wanted to let you know that the action happened. And the resolution, I think it was 207, was to amend the contract and remove the barn. So just so we have a little housekeeping on that. Before I begin, I am going to ask Joe to say a very few brief comments on the landfill and the status of the force main and the master plan before I give my remarks. Joe, if you would. Joe is our Planning and Utility Director.
Thank you. I'm pleased to say that we were making great progress as it relates to the construction of the force main, going from the landfill all the way up to Avenue K and pump station number 6. That project you'll actually see and did see in one of the resolutions had a change order where we actually eliminated almost 4,000 feet of open cutting the road in favor of horizontal directional drilling to minimize the disruption, which we know and really appreciate the patience of all the residents in and around the area. The police have been great, the contractor's been great, and we're also finishing up the design on the pump station that will actually feed that force main going to the ultimate destination of the Middlesex County Utilities Authority with no impact to our residents once the construction is complete. As far as the master plan goes, we're again making great progress on that. The draft has been received by both the master plan subcommittee as well as the stakeholder group. We've received comments from nearly everyone, and we are on schedule to make a draft presentation of the master plan at the next planning board meeting. The planning board meeting is dedicated totally to the draft presentation of the master plan in August, and then hopefully we will take the comments from the public and the planning board members, incorporate them, and then present it for final review at the planning board meeting in September.
Thank you. Mr. Weinberg.
Thanks, Joe. Moving back to my report and moving quickly, I do want to mention summer camp. For those of you who don't know, we had over 800 Monroe children and over 140 staff members. We lost some folks to the Police Youth Academy, but I do want to thank all the staff, including Recreation's Mary Lang, Jean Crawley, and Chris Sidler, our camp director. It's great to have so many high school students working with our youth. It was hot at times, so we had to move people indoors, but to see that operation of, getting close to 1,000 kids to have a great summer in Monroe is a terrific thing. Update on the third quarter tax bill. The 2022 final and 2023 preliminary bill, which are the 4-part bills that people get, are expected to go out next week. We will post on the website and on Facebook when they are mailed and email on our e-blast. Residents will have most likely till Friday, September 25th, or 25 days to pay the third quarter bill. As a reminder, the municipal portion of the tax bill has not increased for the second consecutive year at 48.9 cents per hundred. Energy tax receipts is a fight that has been going on this past year with our council and our mayor, trying to make sure that the state doesn't keep extra energy tax receipts, which they have been keeping for some time. And this was our first effort at progress on that in a coordination with the League of Municipalities. And so for the 2023 budget, we will get an extra $118,000, which will be positive for our next budget, and that'll certainly help as well. But the resolutions passed by the council and the efforts of the mayor are much appreciated. I do want to thank the council on behalf of the administration for funding for the new turf field and the shared services agreement with the Board of Education. So excited about that. We also had the other bond ordinance that you heard about. We have a police department expansion. Over the past 20 years, we've grown from, I believe, about 30 police officers to almost 66, and we need to add a little addition. It's not so little. It's about $2.5 million onto our police station. And so we'll be doing that with this, and we have a new ambulance. Our ambulances are really tremendous. 3 new police vehicles, a new salt plow truck. Our first township electric vehicle is included in this for our recreation department, all electric vehicle, and a new 20-passenger bus for our senior and disabled transportation programs. And one of the things that's important, I know, is a new electronic gate for the DPW, since they can open and close it when people do their recycling. I also want to talk a little bit about the extreme heat. I want to thank our employees. I did this last month, but no one could have imagined this month would be quite this hot. So thanks to all of our employees and everyone for braving through the heat. It's been no easy task. So I just want to thank them. That we have many employees who do a good portion of their work outside, and while we try and take breaks and stuff, it's an arduous task, not just for our employees, but for everyone, and remind everyone about pet safety, particularly in this heat as well, not to leave pets in their car. We did have a force main break last week on Foreman over off of Monmouth Road, Spotswood Englishtown Road, and our MTUD employees worked through the night in the heat to get it fixed, which is not an easy task as well. I want to congratulate the Once Upon a Mattress Community Theater team, a well-done event that was well attended by our community. So thanks to the Mighty Oaks, the patrons of the arts, and the Cultural Arts Commission. Last month, there was a question brought up by Councilman DePiero about connection fees for the school. The township has always waived its connection fees for the school district, and now that the MTUA is no longer independent and part of the township, the mayor confirmed that there would be no connection fees if the school district needs to connect or add any connections at any other facilities. We opened the special needs playground at the soccer complex, which is right off of Prospect Plain. Some of you may have seen it there. It's a beautiful new facility, and I want to thank the county for their partnership and their funding. Thank the council for their funding, Councilman DePiero for serving on the committee. It's a great addition to the community, and you should definitely check it out. There is a new solar program that's going to be rolling out. It's called Community Solar, and Harold is here somewhere. If you want to raise your hand, I thought I saw him come in. This one's, as many of you know, our community energy aggregation program ended because the bids were higher than the tariff rate. The good news is, on a side note, that Community Solar is coming to Monroe through a private entity called Solar Landscape, and they're going to be out marketing to residents who can save 25% on their solar bill, which is great. I just want to give you a heads up that it's not a combined bill. Because this is a new program of the state, they don't have a consolidated bill. So you end up getting a bill from JCP&L and a bill from Solar Landscape, because this is a brand new program. And that could end up being confusing to some people. So I just want to put that out there. There are real savings. It is a legitimate BPU program. You do have to sign up for it online. We will be sharing information, but I do have to put those caveats out there because I want people to know it's a little more complicated than your regular bill. You would end up getting two bills, even though the supply bill with Solar Landscape would provide you with a 25% discount. We have reached out to the BPU to encourage them to consolidate these bills like they did with our community energy aggregation, and they're, quote, working on it. But I don't know whether that'll be months or years before they get that together. So it is a real program. There are real savings, but it's brand new. So I don't know what kind of hiccups they're going to have as they roll it out. And there would be two bills, which is what a lot of our residents aren't really used to. So will be more information to come on that. I know the mayor next month will be here and thanking Judge Boyd for his outstanding service as our judge, and we're super excited about that. I do want to mention the Hidden Gems this Thursday at 6 p.m. at Thompson Park, a local group with singing, dancing, performing talents of India and Bollywood from our cultural arts program. This is the first time we've had Bollywood music at Thompson Park. The July 4th fireworks were a great success. I want to thank Rhea Alathor, who was co-master of ceremonies with Mayor Delina, and she is a two-time competitor in Special Olympics. I know I'm going on. I'm almost done. I do want to recognize the Mayor Gerald and Carol Tamboro Garden at the library. If anyone gets a chance to check it out, it really is celebrating two great Monroe residents and is a beautiful spot to read a book. Remind everyone that the library will be closed tomorrow. We won a $250,000 grant to upgrade the entire HVAC system, and they actually took the Freon out tonight, so they closed a little bit early. And tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., they're going to try and get it all in one day, the new air conditioning and heating system. I was aware, and the mayor wanted me to mention, that Mind the Gap Coffee opened at 635 Spotswood Englishtown Road. He stopped by, and he's working on a ribbon cutting, and I hope to stop by this week. And then my final comment is National Night Out is tomorrow over at Thompson Park. It's a great event. If you love cars and trucks, if you want to be able to see and thank our first responders and get to know them, they'll be there as well. So thank you very much, Council President.
You're most welcome. Are you still smiling, Mr. Rasimov?
Well, thank you, Council President. Alan took a lot of my thunder on a lot of the projects.
I
but
noticed that.
There's a couple projects left I
Okay,
could comment on. So first off, the Matchaponic, Spotswood Gravel Hill, and Pergola Avenue traffic signal. That project, we have punch list outstanding. At this point, our township attorney has sent out a 30-day notice to the contractor to start the process of taking their performance bonds for lack of completing that project. Next project, the 2022 road improvement project. That construction is well underway with concrete work. We anticipate paving of the roads in mid-August to start, mid to late August. Lastly, Costco Drive, it's part of a $600,000 NJDOT local freight grant. The project has been well under construction. We're actually scheduled to start the roadway milling this Wednesday, and that'll be followed up by the roadway paving. And that's my short report.
Look at that. Short report because he was so helpful tonight. Council reports, I'm going to start with Councilwoman Schneider, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll start with the Commission on Aging. I said it's amazing with the same staff and as our residents grow, the work they do there. No benefits are cut, nothing. Just on transportation trips, 235. Medical transport, this is just per month, 536. Princeton Shuttle, 161. Freehold Shuttle, 228. In-Town Shuttle, 39. Senior Center Shuttle, 180. This has been one of the largest we've had in July. Emails were sent out. I just want to show you how kind and wonderful the people are in Monroe Township. What they needed was volunteer greeters at the senior center, so that would allow our employees to do their work, not have to stay there. And immediately, people just volunteered, so I thank all the people who volunteered. They're now in the process of being trained. We're finally, the patio, if you know the senior center with the patio, they are going to start repairing it so it can be used. The Department of Public Works will be tearing up the concrete next week, which is wonderful. And the other thing that I have found that's been so great is the farmers market. The residents of Monroe asked us to start a farmers market. So our employees and staff at the library somehow pulled this together. They were able to get letters out. Even though a rumor went out, not all our business people were asked or farmers. Yes, they were. So that rumor's false. We have proof that they did send out all letters to everybody. What happened was some of them said they didn't have enough staff. So we have outside farmers that came in. I was thrilled to buy fresh corn, fresh tomatoes, honey. So it's every Thursday till the end of August, rather. So if you can, it's at the library parking lot, 2 to 7, every Thursday now. So come out, support the vendors. And they're not gouging you because I bought beautiful tomatoes. Oh, my God. I love a tomato sandwich, so I was thrilled. That's my report.
Thank you very much. Councilman DePiero.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alan took half of my
Alan was very busy tonight.
my report too, but
Talk
I'm
too
gonna
much. That's
I'm gonna
fine.
I'll repeat a couple pieces of it. My first question is the county paving on Spotswood Englishtown Road. Mark and I, we walked it, and driving it, it's right now it's not going to get any better on its own. So if we can get an update on where are we with the county on that project, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, Mr. Asmowitz.
Sure,
Keep
Council
prepared.
President, I'm working with Middlesex County. I've had one or two meetings with them and a couple of conversations. We're working on what improvements will be redone out there and the repaving. But I am working with the county to get that redone.
Okay, and then Joe sent us an email in reference to the paving that they've done on 522 and in our township. And there were 6 valves, I believe, or either hydrant valves or some kind of valves that were covered while they were paving. So I would like to make a suggestion to MTUD. If they could have an inspector during the county paving, because the next project's going to be on Applegarth Road from Federal Road to Joe and Warren Drive, if we can have an inspector on site, it would definitely be beneficial. I don't know if our township engineer goes there when the county's paving to watch, but it's definitely important that we got to protect our assets, which are our valves and our manhole covers and everything that's in our right-of-way and in our infrastructure. So I would suggest to MTUD if we can get an extra inspector during the paving, so it doesn't happen again. Mark everything out. You do your video before construction, and then you do another one after, and that's where you guys found out that there were 6 of them that was buried. And we did get your email, and thank you for informing us. But it's just an idea that maybe we can move forward on in future by having an MTUD inspector. The paving on North State Home Road, Spotswood Gravel Hill, and Lower Machaponics, I just want to thank our engineer and the inspections and everything and the punch list work that they completed. There was one manhole that was an eyesore, and they fixed it, and it's every time I come out of my driveway, I see it, and I can tell you guys did a really nice job on that project. The contractor did a nice job, and I just want to thank the contractor and also our engineer. The BFI, we get emails from residents about odors. We get emails about the situation that's going on. The question that I have, the easement for the pump station, do we have that in place yet?
We don't. We sent our original draft of the easement to BFI, I believe the 3rd week in April. They're on their 2nd lawyer, their 3rd engineering review, and we're pretty much at a conclusion of it, we believe. So between now and the next meeting, we'll know where we are.
And this is just a construction easement, like a temporary easement?
No.
Or is this a
we
permanent?
We need both. We need a construction easement because we're going to go on their property. They bought those 2 lots there.
Yes.
But we also need a permanent easement because we're locating the pump station on that property.
Because looking ahead, it looks like we're going to get the force main in, but we're not going to have the force main's not going to be able to be live because we're not going to have the pump station.
We certainly, the ordinance gives us the right to condemn it if we have to, and we will if we have to, if that what it's going to take. The conclusion, it's actually not that much money, the value of the property. We always, of course, would rather, we have a relationship with them where we're trying to work this out without having to end up in court. But if we have to do that, we can do it relatively quickly because, as you know, we deposit the money in court, we get title to it, and we go on from there. So,
Right.
So we're gonna bring an end to this pretty quickly.
Okay, but Lou, the question's that we already awarded a contract for a contractor.
No, we understand, and we
Right, the clock is ticking, on the construction. We just approved the no dollar, amount for BFI, the force main, but we also, in that, if you read through it, it was also an extension of the contract that we awarded the contractor because of not being able to get materials, so we just awarded that contractor some additional time. So I don't know, just trying to put the horse in the cart all in one, and by saying without that pipe, without that force main, the pipe is useless to us.
Well,
We've got to have everything.
I got it, and I agree. And as you can imagine, I talk to Joe Stroin literally every day about this and other things. But we understand that we are comfortable and confident that there won't be any delay as a result of that easement.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, I want to also, we have two businesses that are, one's in process, one's moving in probably within 3 weeks. As Alan said, the mayor said to make a comment about Mind the Gap Coffee. I was there today, I met the owners. It's in Suburban Plaza. It's their second venture, coffee shop, bagel, and breakfast. And they're just waiting for us to come there with the ribbon cutting, as Alan said, with the mayor and the council, as we all wish all our business owners, well. And I just wanted to put a shout out. I told them that I would put a shout out to them for tonight. And there's also it's going to be a steakhouse, seafood, and Italian. Monroe resident. He had a business there called La Rosa Chicken. It's going to be Jasper Stone, which is his two children's middle names. He put them together. He owns Tuscany's in Old Bridge, is another one of his 5 businesses that he owns. And he's planning on opening in about 3 weeks. He's at 399 Spotswood Englishtown Road. And when I tell you, the guy works around the clock 7 days a week. He really does, and he really puts his heart in everything that he does. And as a business owner, I could tell you it's not easy, but we just want to give him a shout out and his company, and hopefully he'll do well in Monroe, and he'll be here for a long time. As National Night Out tomorrow, as Fire Commissioner, we'll all be there for first responders. It's from 6 to 9 at Thompson Park, as Alan said. I'm sorry that I'm repeating it, but it's also important. And then I wanted to thank Mark and his associates, Ken, for talking to a resident, Diane Smith, on Bordentown Turnpike. The Smith family's been in Monroe over 80 years. They really, they had the cranberry bogs, and they had a lot of things going on. The road has been probably not touched in 30 or 40 years. They're talking about drainage problems. They've been sending emails. And I just want to thank Mark and Kenny for reaching out, and also Wayne Horvat as well. So hopefully in the near future, we can do some of the improvements on Bordentown Turnpike and address the Smiths and the residents of that street's issues. So I just wanted to thank Mark for reaching out to the residents. Thank you. And also, the last thing I want to say is, Lou, thank you for sharing your birthday with us. Thank you.
See, we saved that. We knew that was happening. We were waiting for cake.
I had to get that in there, Lou.
Yeah, knew you would. Thank you. Council Vice President Van Zura.
Thank you, Madam President. When you're the last one to go, half the
You're not
stuff's
last,
it's all
I'm
taken
gonna go.
care of. It's like, what are you going to say? All right, a couple of things I do want to mention. Number one, we had a planning board meeting last week, at which time the planning board approved an 80-unit building on Cranberry Half-Acre Road that is 100% affordable housing, which will attack our goal of having a certain amount of affordable units. And there is nothing attached to it where we have to build any amount of fair market housing. So what that does is, normally if a private developer came to town, they'd say, okay, well, we'll build some of your affordable, but for every affordable, we're allowed to build 4 fair market values. So that would have been an extra 320 units we don't have to worry about getting built, and we got 80 of our affordable out. The better part of the whole thing is that this is a building that's built primarily for the benefit of veterans. There's 80 units, 37 have to be guaranteed veterans, and the other 43 are veteran preference. So they're going to go out and try and solicit. The goal is hopefully we wind up with 100% veterans. I don't know if it will or it won't, and naturally they can't run the building if it's only half empty, but the goal is to try and get all 80 of those units veterans, but at a minimum it'll be at least about half veterans at a minimum. So let's hope we can get all the veterans in there, and I think that's a win-win for the town, for our veterans, and it's a good thing. So first thing I wanted to point out. And keeping with the good news, we, of course, even though it seems like a while ago because it's August 1st, but our last meeting was June, I did want to mention we had a great 4th of July fireworks at Thompson Park. And the reason I want to mention it is our sort of co-master of ceremonies with the mayor, or mayor for a day, was a young lady, Rhea Alather, who was part of our Monroe Special Olympics. She actually won 5 medals in the Orlando Olympics down in Florida. So that was a great accomplishment for us. We also this month had the dedication to the Tamburo Garden for our former mayor and his wife, which is over by the library as a tribute to them, and just like a nice place where you could go and relax and recognize what a great area it is over there. So another just real nice thing. And then, not to be outdone, we had a young person in town during the month of July by the name of Shupan Gupta, who was the winner of the Geography Bee. I'm not sure if that was state or if that was beyond the state or whatever, but Shupan, another Monroe resident, went out and did us well. And lastly, in the middle of July, up in Ford's, they had this pageant. It was the Mrs. and Teen India, New Jersey pageant. And our town of Monroe, Mrs. India, New Jersey, was Raksha Tripathi, if I'm saying it correct, from right here in Monroe. And Miss Teen India, New Jersey, if I say it right, is Sanskriti Srivastava. So they went up there right on the Ford's, New Jersey, right next to Island, New Jersey, where there's a great, South Asian population. But our 2 Monroe residents won 2 out of the 3 of the first place awards that were given there. So congratulations to them also. And, it's just, it might not be a big thing, but it's a nice thing. It's nice to see people from our town getting recognized, particularly the ones with the studying and everything else. So again, everybody said National Night Out tomorrow. Hope you can all get out, and it's also always a pretty nice night. Get to see some of the other town residents. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of the summer.
Before we open to comments from the public, the comment that was made when the coffee shop opened, Councilman, was that they were really opening it, so Councilwoman Schneider and I would have a place to go for coffee. It's one of our regular complaints is that you can't get a cup of coffee when a meeting ends. And someone I work with told me today that they had delicious scones, and they were all excited that we have this coffee shop.
They're waiting for you.
Yeah, it's waiting. I have every intention of getting there. So, and I have I would seriously like to comment before we open for public comments that having all of you join us this evening enhances our meetings. And I would hope that you continue to join us. It is always a pleasure to have our residents share with fellow residents, which is we all are, the work that goes on here in town. We are going to have, I need to have a motion now to open the public comment section.
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Remember, you must come to the mic. You have 5 minutes. And you must state your name and address for our records, please.
Good evening, everybody. Tim Esso, 2 Allison Court. Can you hear me, right? Okay.
Yes.
It's come to my attention that we have a new position. I don't know whether or not it's being created in the police department or it's been allocated in the budget prior to. It's called the Fleet Safety Facility Security Coordinator. It's a full-time position. Is this a position that has been created, or is this a position that's been in the police department? Through the chair to Mr. Weinberg.
Mr. Weinberg, are you prepared to comment on that?
Sure. Yeah, this was in the police budget request. So I believe it was included in our budget in April, voted on, introduced in May, and then approved, I guess, at the June meeting.
June meeting.
And I can go through the rationale for why if you'd like.
No, that's okay. Second question is there anybody currently doing this job now? So in other words, is this job being taken care of now?
Question. Mr. Weinberg.
Yes, this job is being done by sworn officers now, and as the department continues to grow to 66 officers, it would be more appropriate to have a civilian focus on it, Council.
How many officers did we have last year, and within the last 5 years, how much has the department grown?
If I may,
You would
Council President.
please do.
We've grown from, I believe, 54 to 66 just in the last 3 or 4
Correct.
years, and as I mentioned earlier in the meeting, we've grown from 30 to 66. So we continue to see growth, and we have plans to add additional officers as well.
Okay, so we're about 12 officers more in 5 years, and this requires a full-time position as a fleet safety facility security coordinator.
If I may,
Mr.
Council
Weinberg,
President,
you may
right now,
answer for
that
Judith.
function is handled by an officer through the admin department, the purchasing of new vehicles, the coordination of vehicles, getting radios installed, managing the maintenance of it. It's all handled by a fairly small but sworn police unit that handles, it's called the admin unit. And so the mayor, the chief has been mentioning to me that, this is something he wanted to add a position for a while, and we put it in this budget earlier this spring.
Would it be more cost-effective to possibly give that officer currently doing it, who's, I'm assuming, doing a good job now, a stipend, rather than hire someone full-time and put the burden on the taxpayer to pay him health benefits and a salary?
Mr. Weinberg, the chief is not here, but we had budget hearings where the council was made aware and knew it.
I think that.
An answer.
Yeah, the answer is no, because it would free up that officer then to do police duties. So you would be civilianizing essentially a police, so you'd free up an officer to be a police officer.
So are you hiring a police officer within the department, or are you hiring a retired police officer from Monroe or other?
No, the answer is you're hiring a civilian.
You're hiring a civilian.
A civilian,
Okay, a
correct.
civilian.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to have any type of police background.
No, it's a
civilian position.
different, it's a civilian position.
Okay, and how many applicants have we had so far?
I don't know. I believe it was just
No.
posted.
Yes, it was me.
It was
We
just
don't have the
posted.
number yet.
Okay. Okay. All right, I have another question as well. I do live in the Pines in Monroe, and we were talking about, streets and whatever have you. We have had an issue with the storm sewers caving in the Pines for years now, and it's come to my attention that there's a male pipe into a female pipe. It was done the wrong way, okay, and everything is undermining. Have we, as a township, taking a look at this further? I know people were out, but has anything been done? I mean, I have cracks all in my court, and weeds are growing up where I go out there and I weed whack them myself. I mean, at 15,000
Mr. Weinberg,
taxes.
Mr. Razumowitz, this is for
Thank
to
you.
you.
Madam
Thank you.
President, it's the first I'm hearing about a neighborhood-wide issue with the storm source. So if you can get me information as to
Sure.
what streets you're having issues
Can I
on,
call you,
we'll take
possibly
a
make an
look at
appointment for you to come out and take a look at some of the storm sewers that are
it.
collapsing?
Sure, you can call my office
Will do.
and get me the locations, and we'll come out.
Okay, thanks so much. And thank you. Thank
You're most welcome. Anyone else wish to address this? Please, sir. Yes. And again, your name and address for our records. Thank you.
Again, Frank Waltzer, 384A Sudbury Lane, Monroe Township. I guess this might be a more appropriate time to
You were
try
not
to find out
inappropriate. That's fine.
where we stand. I understood that there were a number of funding projects to help remediate a variety of issues with the drainage for Rossmore and for Greater Monroe Township relating to Tropical Storm Henri. I know I spoke to Alan a couple of times, and I know that there were, I've heard that
Excuse
there
me,
was
please.
at least $1 million going towards one of the projects, and I heard there's a second $1 million that may be getting freed up. I'm wondering if anybody here knows what's going on.
Mr. Weinberg, I know that you have been waiting, and yes.
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Waltzer, if I can. The mayor has been working with our state legislators to direct some money from the state, since, as we all know, from the the incident and the flooding that happened as a result of Tropical Storm Henri. The township did a variety of things, and it was important, as there are newly identified things to do to mitigate the future, that there be a funding source for that. And the mayor has reached out to the legislators and to the governor on that, and it's our expectation, and they're working through the budget process now, which has been completed, but they're trying to direct some of that money directly towards benefiting Monroe Township, and particularly around the Cedar Brook. So I don't have an announcement yet today on that, but I am optimistic, having spoken with the mayor and heard of his conversations with the legislators, that there will be some funding through the state budget that'll be directed directly into that. I just don't have the specifics at this point until we get the, quote, official letter from the state.
Now, when you say the Cedar Brook, what does that include?
Well, the Cedar Brook really includes the southern portion of Rossmore, but I should say it would include all the flooding at Rossmore on the northwest corner as well. But as we know, the Cedar Brook is the one that has been chronically challenged over years. That's the one that runs, through Nautilus and down through the southern portion. Up by Sharon Way is a different brook. Mark has the name. It's just escaping me.
Sudbury Lane?
Yeah, up by Sudbury Lane, Sharon Way, off there. Yeah. So I think we'll hopefully have some positive news, but I don't want to just get the apple ahead of the cart until we have everything dotted and all the I's. But that is something the mayor's been working very hard on, particularly over the past 6 months in the budget, to try and make sure some money gets redirected to Monroe from the state to recognize some of the mitigations that may need to be done.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We will keep you apprised. You can keep coming, too.
I don't want another flood. One's quite plenty enough.
I think so. You have many on the council who agree with you. Anyone else wish to address us at this moment? Yes. Again, your name and address for our record, please.
Hi.
Hi.
Pat Swalje, 586A Madison Drive in the Clearbrook Complex. My question really, I guess, is for Mr. Weinberg.
Sure.
I have a question about the solar program. Where is this company pulling their energy from? Where's their solar panels located, I guess?
Sure. If I can, Council
Oh,
President. That's a
please.
great question. So one of the reasons that our residents are eligible, and it's neighboring municipalities as well, is one of the projects that was awarded in this round of solar was to put solar on top of Costco, which is on Costco Drive in Monroe. And so that opens it up to Monroe, Jamesburg, and other adjoining towns. So that's where the solar will come from. It's, again, I don't want to present that I'm the expert, and you're welcome to stay after with Harold when it's over, but those credits are then being able to be used by our residents. So we expect that Solar Landscape will start advertising their program to our residents in the coming month. And residents will be able to sign up for it. The details that I have so far is they're reserving half of the 800 spaces for people who are low and moderate income, and the other half for anyone in the community. And it would provide you with a 25% discount on supply, not on delivery. But since it's a somewhat brand new program, as I mentioned earlier, they're trying to figure out how it's all going to work and the third-party billing on the supply side. So hopefully that was helpful in answering your question. You don't directly connect to Costco, you get a credit on your bill. But Costco is pulling in a lot of solar into the community, and that credit is made available to people. And it's particularly, this program was created because not everybody in New Jersey is able to put solar on their roof. I think one of the reasons the state did this was to recognize, and they'll hopefully target people who can't have solar on the roof, whether they're in condos or in some other type of unit or apartment complex, and this would allow them to participate in the benefits of solar. But again, they are just beginning to roll it out.
For Harold Klein is sitting quietly in the back. That's his favorite seat. Yes, so if you have questions when Mr. Weinberg said to see Harold Klein, that would be, he would welcome the opportunity and would speak with you and answer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're most welcome.
I wanted to say I've been a resident of Monroe for 7 years. This is my first council meeting. I formerly was from Edison, where I lived for 33 years and quite active there. And I agree that the township employees really deserve a thank you in this hot weather. Everyone I've met in this community, and I've used the library services, so the librarians, the staff at the senior center, our garbage pickup guys, I call it the dump, but it's the recycling center. Everyone has been really, as employees of a community, just doing a great job and very friendly and very helpful. So I'm really happy that I moved here. I like the cornfields. I like the green. And I certainly appreciate the stability that the mayor took in keeping our taxes stable. So I really appreciate that. So thank you for your public service also.
And thank you for being here and for moving to this very nice town.
Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle?
Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. My main focus this evening is about the master plan. After I'm finished with my questions, I would hope that you would elaborate a little bit more for the public the importance of the master plan, what it means to Monroe. Essentially, the citizens of Monroe, this is an opportunity to see into the future of our community. After this master plan is adopted, it's sort of a little too late then to complain about how things are being built or what we call the build-out in this community. So I would ask people, to be cognizant of the opportunity to participate in how Monroe's future looks. So my question is, will the draft of the master plan be exposed to the public? When will that be?
Yes, please, because I believe.
I don't know if Kevin.
Kevin? You've been Hi, Kevin.
You can answer.
Kevin, would you please also include the surveys that were done so that.
Sure, yeah. So to answer your question, Michelle, absolutely. The draft, as Joe mentioned before, we're going to present a draft version of the master plan on August 25th. That'll be available, I would say, at least 10 days before our meeting on the 25th. It's not the final adoption, so it's not the statutory requirements that we'll probably be going through in September or thereafter, but for transparency purposes and just so that the meeting is more productive, that draft master plan will be available in the public. As the council president mentioned, all of our survey results are already available on our public input website. And so we've been directing people to publicinput.com/MonroeMP, where they can get all the survey results have been there for the last year, but we'll remind everybody of that as well.
But Council President, don't go. Don't go, Kevin.
Still here.
Oh, good.
We got it.
You can tell she was
Yes.
bored of that president.
So when you say it's available, this is on the Monroe Township. Can you be specific exactly where it is so people can go look for it? It's on the Monroe Township website under where? Because sometimes it's difficult to
I
find.
can't answer because I haven't gone to look.
You know, I think, and I'm looking at Joe a little bit, but I think we would probably include it in the same areas that we include our monthly planning board applications online for the public, as well as that publicinput.com site. But we'll put it in both places just to make sure that people can see it.
Sometimes it's difficult to find agendas and things.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
I'll
she
check
will-
for you
she will do
tomorrow.
Thank
that.
you, Christine.
You're
That was the
welcome.
way.
Okay, I mean, that won't get there until August 25th, but as long as it's accessible to the public, because, like I said,
Probably August 15th.
August 15th, even
Right,
better.
10 days early.
Okay, great. How many public hearings, and again, when you talk about what the master plan is, if you can explain that there actually are public hearings that are required by statute, if I'm correct?
That's correct.
You're the attorney.
So, you know, it'll really depend on how August 25th goes. If we get a significant amount of feedback, well, let me step back. If we get feedback on August 25th and we're able to present a final version of the master plan in September, then we'll go through the necessary statutory requirements of notice and look toward that final adoption in September. If there's more significant comments that might take a little bit longer, then we may need to go to an October meeting. Again, it'll really depend on how much comments and how much progress we make in August.
But it actually requires 2 public hearings, is that correct?
One public hearing.
One public.
One public hearing?
One public hearing.
So we have a presentation and then is that the public hearing?
No.
Presentation?
No, so I think what Kevin just said was that what we plan to do is to have it, we're going to present the informal draft of it at the meeting on the 25th.
Right.
If there are not a lot of public comments on it and there are not a lot of changes required, we could go to the formal public hearing in September.
Gotcha.
If there is a lot of comment and it looks like there's sections that have to be rewritten and we can't get it done, we may even have another informal review of it in September and then adopt it in
That's
October.
excellent. Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
We're doing extra than what the statute requires.
Right.
Just, it's a big town. It's a comprehensive plan that hasn't, been amended at this level for 12 or 13 years. So we want to make sure we do a little bit more.
And I appreciate that. I mean, that's so important. Having said that, I would ask the council to work it out, or if it's legal or however I believe it can be done, with the planning board that when we do have this discussion, you say on the 25th, the planning board will be solely for the master plan. I would ask that you consult with the planning board and perhaps extend the 5 minutes if necessary, because again, it is our future and it is very important. Of course, the chair controlling it, but if we have to extend the 5-minute comment period, because if this is our only opportunity.
As you're just noticing.
Right.
That is, your suggestion will be taken under advisement.
Thank you
Thank
very
you for
much.
that. Thank you.
And could you also just make mention of what the master plan is? Could you just tell the public?
Well, I
I'm
guess I can
going-
do that.
He can
So-
do that.
Sure. Under the municipal land use law, the planning board has a very distinct function, and one of the things they do is they adopt a master plan. The master plan has a series of elements in it that look at kind of everything that goes into good planning for a municipality: a transportation element, an open space element, a recreation element, a housing element, a zoning element. The master plan is solely a planning board document, though. Yeah, obviously, as you can see, the administration has been involved in a huge public outreach to get comments to fuel the draft of the master plan and then get it adopted. Once it's adopted, then it becomes a guide for the land use for the next 10 years. Right. And most importantly, it may make recommendations with regards to the changes in zones, and then that'll come back to the council, and the council will adopt the appropriate amendments to the zoning ordinance.
Thank you.
That's it.
So
You're welcome.
critically important.
It is
It
important.
is incredibly
It
important.
certainly is important. That is why we also had the public demonstrations. We had 3 sites in town when we were first working with the company, and the public was invited, and the public did show up, and they could talk to the company and get some further information about what we were doing. Is there anyone else who wishes? Yes, ma'am, please. Your name and address for our record.
My name is Sheila McHugh. My address is 385B Sudbury Lane here in Monroe. First, want to reiterate what the lovely lady said about how nice it is to live in a town that makes so many accommodations for those of us who live here. And then I have a question, because there is a retention pond not too far from my home on Sudbury Lane, and it's on Matrix property, and I've been told that the township has an agreement with Matrix to maintain that retention pond, and that it exists partly for the purposes of putting out fires on the Matrix property. Is that correct?
Mr. As always, this is.
I couldn't speak to that it's solely there for putting out fires. It accepts.
I didn't say solely.
It accepts drainage from the roadways, and then it heads out underneath the turnpike. So it's
Yeah.
collecting stormwater runoff.
Yeah, a lot of stormwater runoff.
We do have retention ponds in town that do get pumped out of from the standpoint of irrigation. I don't believe there's any irrigation on that. And otherwise, I'd defer to the fire. I don't know if.
Yeah, I'd have to see if there's such
an.
an agreement. Honestly, it sounds a little odd to me, because usually you would not use a retention or detention basin for fire suppression. It's just not something you would do. Certainly, I don't think it passes any fire
I'd like
code,
an
at least
answer on
any
that,
fire code after
if it could
1930.
be obtained at some
Yeah.
time.
So what
However-
we'll do is we'll pull the agreement and we'll
Well,
answer your
during the
question.
storm,
Mhm.
Storm Henry, which Frank referenced, water was being collected in the storm sewers throughout that whole front section of Rossmore, the area by the meeting house, the administration building, the front gate, a whole big quadrant of Rossmore's storm sewer water all feeds into one pipe, as I'm told, and finally goes into a 54-inch wide pipe that dumps into that retention pond, which is right behind my home. And since we had such an excessive amount of water fall during Storm Henry, I picture that pipe, all 54 inches of water was going into that retention pond. I'm just about 60 inches tall myself.
We noticed
so
that.
That 54 inches, woo! It just boggles my mind to think of all that water going into that retention pond, which, honest to God, is a stone's throw from my condo.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that Councilwoman Schneider knows what it's like to have her home devastated by floodwaters. The water in my condo was up to my hips, and I had to be rescued by rescue people from the township, for which I'm grateful, because I was starting to wonder if the water was going to breach my windows and put me right up to the ceiling. But I'd like to know now what is going on that Matrix property to mitigate these water problems. They have, since the flood, installed an extensive system of pipes, and they have put in fire hydrants, but the fire hydrants are covered. They're not operational yet. And I'm wondering what's being done so that that pond does not overflow again and impact the homes that border on that pond. There's a substantial number of homes in Rossmore that are impacted by an overflow of that pond. And we're being told, well, we're still studying it. We don't know if the pond overflowed or if your water just didn't flow into it.
I think Mr. Schrein might be able to.
Mr. Schrein might be able to help you.
Well, thank you. I'd appreciate an answer to that.
Mr. Schrein.
I can help you as it relates to the system of pipes and the network of pipes that are going in the matrix development, as well as the fact that I can essentially guarantee you that that retention pond is not being used for fire. That is all being provided.
Was it ever?
Not that I'm aware of. They had, because we actually installed probably about 10 years ago a larger main to provide fire protection for the corporate park that is located within Monroe Township. And the reason why all those additional pipes are going in now is that that Matrix corporate park was served by wells that have since gone bad, and they were required by the DEP to switch to a public water system, which Monroe is providing them, but we are not providing the area of Monroe Park that's located in Cranberry. It's just the Monroe section.
So last year, at the time of the flood, if that retention pond reached a certain level where it was a threat to the homes around it, what was in place to funnel that water to a safer place?
As I said, ma'am, I'm sorry I can't comment on the stormwater network and/or retention pond network within the corporate thing. I just know about the water and the fire protection end of it.
Council President, that stormwater was funneled out and went underneath the turnpike through a much larger pipe than the 54-inch.
So that's the end of that question, okay?
good,
I did
yes.
have one other issue to bring up. Is that allowed?
Your time has expired.
Oh,
please,
okay.
ma'am.
Well, then,
So then
folks
it's-
with electric bill problems will have to wait till next time.
But we can always talk to Mr. No, we can also talk to Ms. Harold. Oh, okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for the council?
Council President, a resident can always call my office, and I'd
Oh,
be happy to speak
thank
to her
you.
further.
Ma'am, you heard, and he will be pleased to talk to you. Anyone else have any questions for the council at this point?
I just wanted to tell her.
We have to close the public portion.
We have to close the public portion before the council
I'll
comments,
close
Betty.
it, yeah, I'll talk to
Okay.
her, yeah.
May I have a motion to close the public
So
portion?
moved.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilwoman Schneider, you had a comment you wanted to
No,
make.
just that, I know every time it rains, I go, oh my God, because I face the brook, I'm in Mutual 9 by the gate. And my water was up to my knees, I know. But I have faith, because somebody says, how could you come back after 6 months? So I just have to have faith. But I
May I-
know it's devastating, just devastating.
May we have,
faith too, but the definition of insanity is
I know.
thing over and over again and expecting different results. So
I know.
we-
We'll be okay.
Faith requires that we also take action. Does.
You'll be okay.
It will be. We'll work together.
yes, we will, as we did and we will continue to
But
do.
thank you.
On that note, therefore, since we're working together, folks, can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Motion.
May I have a second on that motion? Second. Therefore, not debatable. We are adjourned.
The time is 8:27.
Thank you so much.